So my boy Eddie from Loot Crates, he said, you know what, Bick? I'm gonna need to send you something so you can dab on the hate. All items are inspired from the Battle of Endor, and if you use the code BICMitchum25, you'll get an extra 25% off. So, dab. Check out this box, first of all. Way bigger, way better. Oh yeah, and also, we're gonna... Oh, baby.
Breathe deep.
Open it up.
First thing we got is a pretty decent hat, actually. It's got the Rebels symbol on there. Alliance Special Ops Endor Galactic Civil War. Damn, boy. So far, things looking a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a change purse. Poncho.
It's a really big one.
Yeah, it is a poncho. It's huge. Oh wow. It's like a flag almost. And we also got a pin. The pin was actually probably the highlight of the last crate, in my opinion. This one is a Star Wars. Ooh, and I think you got a good picture. Excellent. Very cool. Very neat.
Eat your eggs and stay off school.
Alright, that's about it. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, Bic Mitchum here, back with another podcast. Today we have OLDJABBAJABBA as a guest, who I've accused of cheating on Killstreaks. But in the name of fairness and decency, we decided to have him on. We put out the offer for him to join us, and to his credit, he is here today, so welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So...
Another good chance to talk about Battlefront.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, I want to just talk about, the Killstreaker niche in general, I guess, and how many world records do you have?
3.
You have 3 world records, and which ones are those?
Palpatine, Yoda, and obviously Anakin.
Anakin, right. So, what would you say to like the young kids who are out there trying to become a master at this game? What do they need to do to get these high kill streaks?
I don't know, just do a pole jump and just play 24 hours a day on Endor. Pretty much.
Oh, shots fired. Okay. But I mean, like, a lot of time obviously must go into trying to get these streaks.
Well, yeah, it depends. It does come down to a lot of luck at the end of the day, because you've got to have obviously a match that goes on for long enough and brain dead enemies who aren't going to run you over with a speeder or something like that.
So do you play on console or computer?
Xbox.
Xbox, okay. And do you find, or do you suspect that the competition on Xbox is a little easier than, say, if you're playing on a computer, on a PC?
Yeah, I suppose, but it's got its ups and downs. Like, obviously, the people I'm playing against probably wouldn't be as good as on PC, but I can't aim as good as somebody who's on a PC, obviously.
Right, because
I'm only using the controller.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite hero?
Just got its up and down.
Right. Who's your favorite hero to use?
Palpatine.
Palpatine?
Good old Palpatine, yeah.
And why is that? I mean, I know that
he's the
a lot
most
of
fun.
people... Yeah.
Because he's the most fun for me, and he's my favorite Star Wars character, so I just kind of love playing Palpatine out of all of them.
And what have you thought of the new heroes overall?
They're all pretty...
Obi-Wan, Anakin, Dooku.
They're all pretty bad, except for Anakin.
Okay.
Like, they're not the best, in my opinion. And they're pretty weak. Anakin, obviously, is a beast.
Right. And what do you make of all this situation where he needs to be nerfed, or he has been nerfed, I guess, at this point?
I still think he needs nerfed. I think it's his choke. I still think that's a problem, because he can just run into a room and clear like 15 people out of it by pressing one button.
Okay. So, how long have you been playing Battlefront for?
A long time, actually. Since after a month after Battlefront 1 came out, that's when I started playing. And then I played, obviously, all the way up till now. And Battlefront 2 when it launched, etc.
So you started playing a month after Battlefront 1 launched? So you were playing...
Yeah.
Okay,
so about
2015.
Years, something like that, yeah.
Right. And do you find that the first one was better or the second one? What's your opinion on that?
Definitely the second one.
You think the second one?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like Battlefront 1, but having all the Clone Wars and everything is just so much better in Battlefront 2.
So you're a prequel guy then?
Yeah. I like, all of it, but prequels are definitely interesting in the game.
What other games do you play aside from Battlefront?
I still play Skyrim, actually.
Oh, nice.
I
I'm a Skyrim fan myself.
love a bit of I love a bit of Skyrim, and other than that, nothing really.
Just Skyrim and Battlefront, so you're a
Yeah,
hardcore Star Wars fan.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
What would you say is your favorite movie?
I don't know. I never really have a favorite movie, I guess.
Personally, I like the original trilogies the best. Those are, I mean, I sort of grew up with the prequels, but I saw the originals first, and you can't really get much better than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they've all got good things about them. I'd say probably Empire Strikes Back or Revenge of the Sith. They're my two favorites.
Right. I'd have to say, we have some common ground there, then I'd have to agree with you there. What do you think of the sequels?
They're trash. Like I think I've only watched them both once each, and then I never bothered watching them again. They're pretty bad.
They're pretty bad. Okay. So
I mean, the Force Awakens, I think. Oh no, go on.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the Force Awakens was okay, and I think it would have been good if the Last Jedi sort of build on what happened in the Force Awakens. But obviously, because the Last Jedi was a bit of a disaster, then it made the Force Awakens less well.
Right. Okay, so I guess we could start talking a little bit more about the Killstreakers. Who are some of the Killstreakers that you like to watch? Like, there's guys that I can think of off the top of my head. Well, Paul John, obviously. Numpties, Tavik, I think.
Yeah. It's Tavek.
Tavek.
Just yeah, I watch all three of them pretty much. They're the only ones that I watch.
And is that a competitive
I don't watch all
thing?
Killstreaks. No, not really. I just watch I watch more specific heroes. Like I watch Boba Killstreaks, I watch Palpatine Killstreaks, and I watch Anakin and Yoda because they're like my four favorite heroes. So I enjoy watching streaks about them.
And so who, I guess, is your go-to Killstreaker? That's not yourself.
I don't know. It's probably Tavik actually.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of good blaster. He has a lot of good blaster hero kill streaks.
So world records
So I
and
enjoy
things
watching
aside, who do you think is the most skilled?
Probably Tavik again.
Tavek again. Why?
Yeah.
What is it about him?
Yeah.
What is it about him?
He's just some of his blaster hero kill streaks are pretty insane. That's for console though. I guess if I was thinking of the best player overall, it'd probably be another killstreaker. What a weirdo! I'm sure quite a few people have heard of him, but he plays on PC. He's like the only one who does kill streaks on PC, and he's really fun to watch as well because he does a lot of blaster hero kill streaks also. So it'd be between them two for me.
Right. So as far as, I mean, I guess getting into the nitty gritty, the accusations that have been thrown around that some people are not getting their streaks legitimately, and I know I heard you say, you got to keep the games going long enough. What do you think is the line between, doing something just so that you can get a few more kills, and then doing something that's, I guess, dishonest in how you portray your kill streak? If that makes sense.
I'd say, well, obviously getting somebody to join your game and help you out, which it does, to be fair, it does sort of look like Saints was in the game to help me, but if he was in the second phase and respawning, as you said in the video, that doesn't make a difference to how long the second phase is. The only way you can extend the second phase is by shooting the AT-AT with the missile launchers, basically.
Sure, yeah. That's some, I guess that's some flack that I took when I made that video. Now, was Saints on the other team, or was he? We know he was in the game. Was he on the other team, or was he on your team?
He was on the other team.
He was on the other team. So, I think you're right about the second point. the second phase, from what I understand, and I guess I made a mistake there, you can't really extend the game from that point. The question that I have, I guess that I didn't really talk about in the video, and maybe I should have, was the extra 8 minutes added to contest the final capture point. So I'm just wondering what exactly was happening there, and how does a game last that long?
It was just luck. I mean, if you watch it back, which obviously I was sort of sat outside the Empire spawn at the bottom, the bottom bit, but they were all flooding out of the top, and I would switch back and forward. So they kept contesting because they always had one spawn door open, so they could keep going on to the point, and then I could keep killing them at the same time, basically. So it's like a dual thing. You've got to manage how you get your kill between how you sort of.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Objective.
You have to manage how you get your kill. Could you explain that? See, I'm not a I don't really play.
Say you are going
much,
for a kill streak. Say you're going for a kill streak. You've got to make sure that you're not killing them too much so that they can't contest the objective. Like, I wasn't actually doing that in this one so much. Like, I wasn't letting them pass. I was just sort of making sure that they could get past if their team was sort of good enough to contest, is what I'm saying, basically.
So if Saints was on the other team, could you not just have Saints stand and contest the phase, the capture point, and go out and kill the rest of them surrounding him?
No, not on his own, because well, basically after the second phase, towards sort of when the third phase started, you'll notice he's not on the kill feed anymore because he left the game. Basically, what happened was me and Saints were actually in a voice call on Discord, and I was playing, and I said to him, "Oh, Saints, I'll hop on a match with you. Let me just finish this Endor game." And then he searched, obviously, while I was playing, got into the same lobby as me, and then I was on a pretty decent kill streak, so I told him to leave the lobby so I wouldn't obviously get called out for having somebody in the game, which then happened anyway. So
sure. So I mean, that seems a little unlikely to me that he would just happen to get into your game. I mean, I'm sure it could happen. And I did notice that Saints wasn't in the game at the end of the streak, which seems also a little suspicious to me. Now, what you're saying is he joined the game accidentally and then left the game, is what you're telling me.
Well, there's no way he could contest that end point by himself.
Why?
Especially seeing as he wasn't a hero, because you just can't. If there's, say, 10 people on the point, which there was, because you can see it on the counter, and I'm holding his team in the spawn, he can't contest that all on his own. He needs his team to help him, and yeah, you just can't hide on the point, especially as an infantry. Basically, there's nothing you can do to really make that big of a difference, and especially
if he was a hero, could he do that? Because I wouldn't suspect he would be on the kill feed if he was contesting. He just needs to be in the area, right?
Yeah, but how would he contest without getting kills? Because my entire team was on the thing, if you get what I'm saying.
I mean, I guess, but how long does he need to be on the, there's got to be some natural contesting going on too, and like you said, if you're managing the players that you're killing, then, having someone in there doesn't seem...
I suppose, but again, after about, 70 tickets when he leaves, that's even before the overtime starts, you don't see him on the kill feed. So if he was running, I suppose what you're hinting at is he was just running on the spawn point and dying to keep it going,
right? Then
you would see him, Old Saints says, is defeated on the scoreboard, but you don't see that after a certain amount of tickets because he leaves.
So could you explain a little bit what's going on with what I pointed out in the video, which is the suicides, the rolling suicides?
I can explain that, actually. He was trying to get points, and well, there is a glitch in fast spawn where you can blow yourself up with a turret and get 1,000 battle points.
Okay.
So he was trying to get.
Why was he trying to get the points? To get a hero?
A hero, I guess.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, like I said,
even if he was a hero. Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say, even if he was a hero, like I said, he couldn't just jump on the point over and over again without getting kills and without being killed, is what I'm saying.
Right. So you're saying he wasn't getting... I mean, I'd have to look at the video again. I haven't looked at it that closely, to be honest. But I mean, I'm sure you can admit. I'm sure you can admit things look a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, I suppose. And as well, I didn't even notice until I watched your video, but there was a lot of people all killing themselves at the same time. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that's what the thing that definitely stood out to me the most. Now, I mean, I'll give you credit. I think that was just a bit of a randomness. Right. I'll give you credit. I'm not completely convinced, but I do have to say it's a lot better than clipping the end of the clip to make it look like you got more kills than you did.
That is true. See, I noticed you made videos on the one times that nobody was cheating, but then on the one time somebody did cheat.
Well, what did you make of that situation? Because I mean, it must be frustrating as someone who's going for world records to, I guess, be cheated out of it, you know, by someone who's taken the easy way and actually doing.
I mean, yeah, it's sort of. I mean, we don't call it as like a world record sort of brag and say, like, oh, we're the best players ever. We do it as a sort of a challenge to each other because we all like to try and beat the records. It's a way to make the game more fun for us, or at least that's how I see it.
Sure, but I think there's a lot of clout surrounding, you know, having the title world record, and I mean, you could even argue that some of those guys, even after their world record's been broken, they still don't take a world record out of the title of their videos.
Yeah,
they might say former world record or.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think it's a competitive thing? Do you think that people are just taking it overboard, trying to, you know, get those views, I guess, or like, what do you think or is it just competition between?
I suppose it's partly competitive. Like it's a way to make the game sort of more fun in a way, because you're going for, or at least that's what it is for me, because I enjoy going for kill streaks and stuff. So. I guess it's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put it really.
All right, well, let's take a little bit of a break from that. What do you see is in store for the future of Battlefront 2?
Honestly, not much. I think they will add these new supremacy maps, maybe add a few extra reinforcements, and then they'll be done.
You think that'll be the end on Battlefront 2? Do you expect that there'll be Battlefront 3? Maybe some spin-offs, as someone like Elliot suggested?
I expect a Battlefront 3 because, I mean, it will make money, and I guess if it makes money, they're likely to do it.
Right.
It's just what I think.
Are you going to play Jedi Fallen Order?
Probably, yeah. I mean, why not? Star Wars, I'll give it a try. But I'm probably going to wait to see the gameplay reveal and see if it looks like something I'd enjoy.
What other type of Star Wars games would you like to see put out there? I mean, I don't know how
Maybe
long you've been a fan, but like games, I guess, that were popular in the past, things like the Old Republic. Like, is that something that interests you, or are you more of a, you know, a shooter guy? Like, what would be your ideal Star Wars game, I guess?
I'd actually like to see an open world Skyrim game, like, not a Skyrim game, sorry, an open world Star Wars game that's sort of like Skyrim, where you can just roam around, do different missions, like pick Jedi or Sith or something. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That sounds a lot like the Old Republic. I don't know if you've played any of those games.
No, I haven't actually. No. So that's yeah.
I haven't played them much either.
But I haven't played that one.
That's basically the idea. So what do you think is keeping, I guess, that from happening? Do you think it's EA, the publishers? Do you think it's just Disney? Do you think it's people want shooters?
They probably don't see a whole lot of money to be made in sort of single-player games, so they're only doing a few of them, and they're trying to focus more on multiplayer games like Battlefront and whatever the mobile game's called.
Star Wars Galaxies.
That one, because they make way more money off them. So I think they're probably trying to focus on them ones, and that's why they don't want to do anything that's sort of open world and single player.
So when Battlefront's finished, what are the plans for your channel?
It's a good. I've never thought about that. I don't know. I guess I just stop uploading unless there's anything else that, again, that I get really into. I guess then I'd upload that. Like I'd probably upload Jedi Fallen Order, or the new Elder Scrolls, the one after Skyrim.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't think they've announced the name yet.
But yeah, I'd probably upload one of them too, for a bit.
I want to turn again. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I want to turn again. I want to turn again back to the Battlefront community, and I want to just get your general thoughts on the community and the state of the community.
Well, it's sort of a double-edged sword. Like a lot of the community is really good, but then you have a certain section of the community that's not, shall we say, as good as the rest of it. But I think overall it is a pretty good community, especially how long they've stuck to Battlefront 2, like all this time after it's had a pretty bad launch and all the problems it's had. So
you think it's a polarized community? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and you see yourself on one side, which is the better side, I guess you said. What would be some examples of things that the other side does that I guess is not constructive, or?
Well, not necessarily the better side is what I'm saying. It's just more of a side that I don't agree with. Just because, I don't think like them doesn't mean that what they're doing is wrong. It's just, it's not the side of the community that, I would get along with, is what I'm saying.
So, well, without saying any names, I mean, unless you're talking about me, perhaps, but what would be some examples, I guess, of the type of content or the type of players that would no,
I wasn't talking about you. No, more of the sort of the toxic people on Reddit is what I was saying, and the people on Twitter who are.
Twitter can be kind of fun, but
yeah.
Reddit, I think, Reddit is toxic, man. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't
that's the part of the community I was talking about.
I don't spend a lot of time on the Reddit, but it's so toxic, and I think that the control that Reddit has over a lot of aspects of the community is bad. The dark side, we could say. Now, do you think that
name I guess I could name is Anakin X Ninja. He's a big YouTuber, and his mods are so toxic. It's sort of like the Reddit. They're really corrupted, just like the Reddit mods.
Right.
And just honestly, half of the people on his channel are just they're brain dead.
I've heard of him. I've never actually spoken to him or anything like that, but
I've not really. I've just seen some examples of his stream channel. I've been to his streams before, and it's just it's not the best part of the community, is what I would say. But I'm sure they'd say that about me too. So
who are some community members, or I guess content creators, who you think are putting out good content that maybe you'd like to have noticed or shout out?
I don't know really. I don't watch a whole lot of Battlefront YouTubers, except from probably the main ones. I watch Battlefront updates and Swanee mainly. Swanee's probably my favorite YouTuber.
That's an interesting duo. Kind of opposite.
Yeah. They are opposites, but I think sort of there's even though they're different opinions, there's sort of an in-between balance where they're both sort of right at times. So
right. I mean, I've spoken to Elliot, and he's a pretty good guy. I haven't spoken to Swanee. We've tried to get him on lots of times, but I do think I think what Elliot does as a game changer is really good. He's kind of definitely the cream of the crop when it comes to game changers. But I think you need guys like Swanee out there too, who maybe if they're a bit more negative, are still speaking the truth, because let's be honest, this game hasn't all been positive. And I think that there should be some, people should be held accountable to a certain degree, whether that's through Swanee, saying how he feels, or whether that's from the community, talking to the devs on Reddit or Twitter or whatever they do. But it's good to hear that people, I know there's a lot of hate for Swanee, and it's good, and I think a lot of that is fueled by Reddit, going back to what we were talking about earlier.
It really is. That's why I like both of them, because there is that mixture of opinions, and it's not just sort of one side. Like, I'm sure most of the community just watches just the positive stuff or just the negative stuff. Right, I like to keep an eye on both and see what people think about it.
Right. What do you make of the Game Changer program?
Well, they don't really change the game, do they?
No, I guess that's true.
I find it a bit pointless. It's only really so they can go over there and get sort of the new content to show off the videos, really.
It seems to be a bit of a click to me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've heard all the Game Changers hate each other as well, basically.
I mean, I'm sure that's not true, but it's, again, maybe it's that thing, between the killstreakers, there's a bit of competition there. Everybody wants to be the best.
I suppose, I guess, but yeah, well, that's just what I heard off an unidentified source.
From an unidentified source. What do you think of how easy it is to get in touch with the developers? Now, on one hand, it's great because you can, complain and get your, your opinions out there, and they might hear it. On the other hand, there seems to be like a lot of really harassing stuff out there, and also there also seems to be like a lot of blind faith that the devs know what's going on, when in reality a lot of this stuff is compartmentalized, and when you're dealing with a big company like EA, there's a lot of things that need to be checked. There's a lot of checks and balances you need to go through, I would imagine. So do you think it's beneficial for the game for these developers to have such a strong social media presence, or do you think it actually hurts the game?
I think it's probably better overall, because I think the community would sort of lose a lot more faith than they've than sort of the community would be a lot more negative than they already are if they didn't have sort of those responses coming off Twitter, just to sort of keep them even with the small updates, like when Ben leaks small things.
Right.
I think that just keeps the community more
engaged.
I don't know. Yeah, engaged with the game, and basically doesn't make everybody completely negative, because you've got that extra voice there rather than it just being the slow EA post, because EA barely ever posts about this game or it keeps it updated.
Yeah, I think that's too bad. I mean, I think the EA should be posting. I mean, I guess the question I have is, could you put the same message out there in a more effective way if you were doing it through a corporate Twitter account rather than someone's personal Twitter account? Like, wouldn't it be better if Ben was posting from the EA Twitter account rather than his own personal account?
Well, yeah, because for one, a lot more people would see it. Like, a lot of people, I guess the casual players, aren't following Ben or Jay or whoever. They're all following EA Star Wars to find out about news. So when, say, someone like Ben tweets, they might not see it. Whereas if somebody like EA tweeted on the EA Twitter account, they would see it, and a lot more people would get the message, basically.
Sure. I mean, I just see, and I'll be honest, like, there's been times where I've seen, I've been frustrated with the game, and I go on to like someone like Ben's Twitter account, and I see they're like eating cake at Dice or something, and even though I really don't have any idea what's going on, it's just it as a consumer, like, it bothers me. It'd be one thing if I want it, if I was actively seeking developers' Twitter's accounts to like follow and stuff, but as someone who's just looking for the news, like, I can do without all the extra, and I think it causes a lot more problems, and it sort of creates these idols in the community, which their word kind of, it's like an outranking thing where like they say something and it's sort of taken for truth or whatever, but that's just a gripe I have, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, but some people just like whatever the devs post, and they're really positive about it, even though say it's just something random because they just like worship the ground that the devs walk on.
Yeah, I find that really strange.
Yeah, it's quite weird. And
I mean, and for them, it must be very weird for them because, you know, that's their job, so they're just doing their day-to-day routine, and people, like, they're kind of celebrities, but not really, you know? It would be so weird just trying to get your work done, but I don't know how, like, someone like Ben couldn't, like, just spend his whole day on Twitter, because, like, I would never get any work done if my Twitter account was so closely linked to the job I was doing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And yeah, well, I guess if it's his job to sort of manage the Twitter,
sure,
and, you know, keep the community engaged, I guess he could just sit around and be on Twitter all day and get away with it.
Not a bad job. Well, we're coming up to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I have some things to do, but I have to say that it was a pleasure talking to you. I'm glad that it was a civil one, and like I said, I put the request out for both you guys, and you were the only one who replied, so I'm happy that you took the time to come on, and I'm glad that we could find some common ground in so far as where the Battlefront community is at, and sort of the quality of content that's put out there. So thanks for joining me today on the podcast. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.